Welcome to More Than a Few Words, a marketing conversation. This is your host, Lorraine Ball, and I am so excited to talk to Tim Bronson today. He's the owner of the Fully Booked Coach and has been coaching full time since 2005. After turning his blog, A Daring Adventure, into one of the web's top life coaching destinations, he pivoted in 2012 to help fellow coaches master no BS marketing. You speak in my language, Tim.
Hi, Lorraine. Thanks for having me on.
I'm so glad you could be here. I'm excited to talk to you. We could talk for a really long time, but we're going to start with a story about what went wrong with your podcasting adventure.
Yes, well, this was 2008, and I'd had a tough time after moving to the US in 2005, 2006, I beg your pardon, with my business, but things were going really well. So I thought I'm going to start a podcast. So there was a Sam Ash, which I don't think it's there anymore, the other side of Orlando. It was a steady drive for me. So I drove all the way across town, and I got there. I had no clue what I was doing. I had absolutely no clue. And of course, these places are full of geeks who do know what they're doing. And they do know, and they like to look down the noses and that. And they were asking me what I wanted. And I was like, I don't even know. And I ended up coming back with about $1,000 worth of equipment. And I know exactly, because I almost didn't like to say, no, I don't need that, or it just needs to be something a bit cheaper. So I bundled all this stuff into the car and drove back across Orlando, got home and started to set it all up. And I just couldn't get it to work. I had no clue what I was doing. I'm still not very techy. I certainly was a lot less techy then. And I've got a friend who's an audiovisual guy, but he was out of town for a couple of days. He said, well, look, I'll come and have a look at the weekend. And then I found out, I'm not even sure how, it's because I was on a Mac. So Macs back then, like now, everything will work on a Mac. But back then, it was mainly just Windows stuff. And it was more a Mac Windows thing. And I lost my nerve. And I just thought, well, okay, our podcast really going to take on? This was before Joe Rogan even started, 2008. And even though I'd done some of my coach training back with podcasts, I thought, are they really going to? You know what? I think I'll just take it back. And I think I was a bit freaking out about the money as well. So I drove all the way back over to the other side of Orlando, gave them the stuff back, asked for my money back. That was the end of my podcasting career.
Oh my
Never did it
goodness.
again.
Oh my goodness. So, as you look back on that experience, what would you do differently now?
I think I would probably. I mean, now it would be so much easier in terms of research with
Mhm.
ChatGPT or even with just with Google. So I think I would have done a bit more research and thought it through a little bit more carefully. But I don't think I would have. I think if I'd have spent say $200 or whatever, then I wouldn't have felt that intimidation factor to make it work from the get go. So just getting more advice and not trying to do it on my own and being a bit of an impulsive and a bit of an idiot, to be quite honest with you. An idiot and impulsive in doing it in the first place and then taking it back and then not waiting for my friend to come and figure things out for me. Not sticking with it, I guess.
So let me ask you this, because I started in 2010, and I got to tell you, I was clueless too. But did you have an idea what your show was going to be about? Did you know what you were going to talk about when you bought this $1,000 worth of gear?
Well, not it's just self development because I was blogging about self development at the time. So I was like very unusual in the coaching sphere because I used to use a lot of humor and I had a tendency to swear quite a lot. So my blog was always a little bit different. So I wanted to do something like that was a little bit different for the self development industry because it was a little bit more staid and stuffed shirt, so to speak. So, but I don't think I had a really clear idea, Lorraine. It was just this like, well, that looks like a great idea. I like these kind of things. Let's do it without really thinking it through. It's just a bit impulsive, to be honest.
Well, I think perhaps that was why it was easy to give it up. Was
Mm,
because
possibly, yeah,
it
yeah.
was a whim. We started our podcast recording through something called Blog Talk Radio. I don't know if you
I
remember that.
remember it. Yeah,
We
yeah,
did a live call-in show and we were live tweeting while it was going on. So we were doing Facebook Live and streaming a decade before Facebook even thought about offering that as a service.
yeah,
And I have to tell you, it sounds like a great idea, but it was exhausting
yeah.
because what they don't tell you is that when a radio station does a call-in show, they have 5 people screening the calls, so you don't get the
Right.
wackos.
Right. Yeah, you don't want wackos. You don't want wackos live. I mean, let's be honest. But yeah, everything was so much more difficult back in the day. It was really. I mean, it really is now. The technology side of things is so much easier. But the other thing I think as well is just for anybody certainly it's new to marketing or moving into an element of marketing that they're not really familiar with is just to stick with it at least for a while. There's a learning curve with
Yes.
everything. I'm going through it now at 63 with AI. I'm spending 3 or 4 hours a day learning AI. It's a steep learning curve, but you've got to do it if you want to succeed.
Absolutely. And I think that's a key takeaway is whatever you're working on or trying or think you want to do, recognizing it's going to take you a little while to learn the ins
Hmm.
and outs.
Right.
Cool. Well, thank you
Right.
for sharing that. We have a little more time, and you had another story, another mistake that you said you
Yeah.
could share with us.
I'm just a litany of mistakes, Lorraine. Yeah. Well, it
Oh,
was
it's
when
a lesson.
I've written a book called The Clarity Method, and it's used by a lot of coaches on core values that they use with their clients. And when I did a relaunch in 2019, retitled it and relaunched it, I thought, okay, and I'd done a few book launches before. I thought I want to do this one properly as a full-on Amazon launch because I know the book's got the capability of doing well. And I hired somebody who's in South Africa, and she gave me one of the things she said you must do is you must have 50 reviews ready to go for the day of launch. We have to get to this tipping point with the book launch within the first 24 hours that really allows it to pick up speed. And I thought she meant ask 50 people. So I did ask 50 people, and pretty much everybody said yes. But as she pointed out to me after the launch failed, they're not going to do it. People will say yes. What are they going to say? Especially when I was emailing them. I mean, a proportion did. Something like, I think almost half actually did leave an email, but it wasn't enough. And it
Mhm.
was me just misunderstanding what she meant. And she said it. It was definitely
Mhm.
on me. It was my fault. But little things like that attention to detail, which I lost for a moment, really screwed up the launch because you're scrambling to catch up after that. And once you've missed that sort of window opportunity on publication, it's very difficult to get it back then. So that was
Ab-
definitely a learning moment.
Absolutely. And I think, again, that experience maybe tips over into a lot of other things because marketers think, well, I'm going to do this and it's going to result in 100
Mm,
responses. And then they get 10.
mm,
And they're not thinking that you can't ask 100 people and get 100 responses. You've got to ask
no.
1,000 or 10,000. And you really have to know what it's going to take to tip someone to that next step in your market.
Right. And I think also, Lorraine, is why even stop? I didn't need to stop. When I look back at it now, even if she'd have said 50, I could have got 100. I knew enough people in the
Hmm.
blogosphere back then that I could have got a lot more people. But I just thought, okay, I've done my job. Let's stop now. Whereas I could have done, I can remember when Tim Ferriss released, I think it was the 4 Hour Body. It got 1,500 5-star reviews before the book was even out. I mean, that's
Yeah,
getting in
yeah.
the system. That's a little bit different, but why stop? And so it was. They were both valuable lessons, really, and
Mhm.
that's what you got to learn from this stuff, aren't you? That's all you can do.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, I really want to thank you for joining us, sharing
Well,
both of your missteps because that's part of what marketing is all about.
it is. Thanks a lot, Lorraine. I've
Thank
enjoyed it.
you. And I'm going to encourage if you guys are interested in what Tim does well, which may not be podcasting, But what he does well is coaching. And if you are interested, you want to hop over to the fullybookedcoach.com. You have an opportunity to learn more about what he does, and also consider looking for the Clarity Method on Amazon. Tim, thanks again.
Thanks.
And if you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to hop over to morethanafewwords.com to find more conversations just like this, along with workbooks, webinars, and so much more. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening. Well, maybe